life on other planets? Do you think there's life on other planets?
Oh, I don't know.
Would you like to think about it for a second?
Oh, not really.
Tell me, do you think there is life on other planets?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I suppose it would be.
No, you seem definitely. You seem definitely. How do you see this life and where?
Oh, I've seen a flying saucer.
You've seen one?
Yes,
Where was
definitely. At Lane Cove,
When was this?
1953.
You don't think this is a figment of your imagination?
Several other people with me saw it.
You all had the same figment. What did it look like?
It was standing up there still.
Just suspended in space.
With
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And on today's episode, I'm going to show you guys exactly why I'm losing some of my hair. I'm going to point out some of the problems that we face in the workshop on a daily basis. But that's how this game is. It's the name of the game. There's always going to be issues. There's always going to be difficulties. But we got to think of ways to overcome those difficulties. So if you guys really want to see how intense it is, I think you guys should stay tuned. And I'll be back in a moment. I'm going to take you guys through some of the challenges we face and the way we try and resolve these challenges. And also, those of you that are in this business or those of you that are building cars, you come across challenges, don't get demotivated, because ultimately that's the car game. Especially when you're working on old cars, you're always going to have challenges. So challenge number one for the day, and challenge number one of 3 challenges of the same car with the same issue we're facing is air ride on a 635 CSI. So this car was done and we were ready to deliver the car. But when we reversed the car up and the one wheel lifted, we noticed that the bag popped out of the shock. Now, naturally, I was stressed out and I thought to myself, okay, how can this be? Did we not tighten something? Is there an issue? Is the bag leaking? It turns out that we picked up an issue on the rear of bagging a 635. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about, right? So we've got the strut or the shock of the 635. We've got the airbag. This is called the double bellow airbag of the 635. Now what happens is the weight of the car keeps the airbag in place. If, let's say, for argument's sake, you're driving and your car tends to hit a dip and it lifts up and the weight is off the bag, your airbag actually pops out, right? Now, this is not a safe way to do it. Luckily, we caught it before we delivered the car. What happened here was, because we don't have bolt-on 635 kits in the country, you've got to make something up. And our supplier that makes the strut and the airbag modification, we kind of like the only people that bag a lot of classic BMWs in the country. So he never came across this problem before and he never had this issue before, as again, not a lot of people bag these cars and these cars are not popular. We've bagged so far 3, and the instruction now is for one of my mechanics to strip all 3 cars, and we gotta now send the shock back. We gotta send the airbag back to rectify. So the way we're going to rectify this issue is we're going to change the shock, we're going to modify it, and we're going to modify the bag, and the bag is gonna be able to twist and screw in and lock. So that's our solution on solving the problem, because ultimately it's a safety hazard. And again, bagging cars like this with aftermarket parts that are not bolt on, sometimes it is a trial and error. So how does this affect the company overall? Well, first of all, I got to phone my client and explain it to him, which luckily he was understanding. The second part is it delays production and it causes a backlog in the workshop, because now we're banking on this car going out, we're banking on the other 6 series going out. But unfortunately, because we got to do some engineering and modification, now we're potentially going to have a 2-week delay on these cars, which is going to have a delay on other cars. And that's this game, unfortunately. and we're used to it. It's a matter of problem solving because we're working with old cars, we're doing custom work, and unfortunately everything is not perfect. But luckily we picked this up on the 6 Series, so I'm quite happy that we are going to be resolving this issue. You guys can have a look at Ngamla. Same thing, I've been driving Ngamla, but luckily in Ngamla I haven't driven much, and it's just been around the block. So again, it's something that I need to do on my own car as well. So yeah, that's the name of the game. Let me go show you guys some other problems that we had on some vehicles. Which car are we gonna talk about? Let's talk about the Benz. What you say?
Yeah.
There's a lot of cars because they're all old and they all give problems. So we're gonna talk about. Or let's talk about Bling's car.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Marrakesh guy, I hope you're watching, because this car and this episode that's gonna be launching soon is gonna be dedicated to you. So once again, thank you for your Marrakesh Brown comments. We love you, bruh. So this is Bling's Benz. Bling's Benz is 95% complete. However, this car would have been done 2 weeks ago. But obviously with us, the only work we were supposed to do technically is bagging the car. We struggled a bit with the rear airbag, so we had to have a special airbag manufactured for this car, which delayed it a bit. We did a respray, we did interior, and we did hard lines. And obviously we're busy with the wheels. But now as we're busy assembling and we're doing a check around the car, we find that some of the electrical components are not working. So now that delays us. So now instead of us just doing paint, interior, air suspension and wheels, we've now got to tidy up all the wiring, go through every electrical component and circuit. So we use a very nice cloth tape, put all the lugs on place just to make it a little bit neater and also test the complete electrical system. So again, this is a gremlin that popped up that we didn't cater for, and unfortunately we got to address it. So this car will be dropping on the channel soon. So I'm excited because I know we got a lot of Mercedes-Benz fans, and also we got to dedicate this episode to the Marrakesh Brown person. So yeah, let me show you guys some more stress. Right, now we come to stress number 175, which is Gary's Buick. Car came to us non-running. We picked up a few issues, sorted it out, got it running. But then we realized the car's got no fuel tank. So now we need to actually try and get a fuel tank for the car. Very difficult. It's a Buick, American car. Rasta, can I see the steering while we're on camera? Nice, guys. What you think of this? MTEC 2 steering with BMW M colors. This is for Menno's IS. So Menno, if you're watching, brah, your steering is ready. Sharp. Thank you. Kalebocha. Sharp. Okay, where were we? Petrol tank. Petrol tank is a problem, and we're going to be doing a few other odds and ends. He hasn't driven this car, we haven't driven this car, so we will be driving the car as soon as we get the petrol tank and do all our quality checks, and then we'll finish it. But again, being an American car, very difficult to find parts, especially locally, so hopefully we will get the parts. I want to take you to another problem car that you guys know about. Nervous? Don't be. Okay, put your manifold on. Say scam, booty. Say money scam, yes. So I don't complain much, and I'm gonna complain now. So I've mentioned it. This is the third time that I am mentioning this car and the problem we're sitting with this motor. I phoned, you guys know the background. I phoned the guy in Vereniging that sells Mercedes-Benz spares, and he lied to us and told us that the motor is a running motor and it's a straight fit in this car. Eventually, we discovered that he lied blatantly and he didn't want to refund us our money and gave a lot of stories. So eventually, 4 Aces in Pretoria. Shout out to Zuzu. Zuzu, you're a legend. Thank you so much for helping us. Assisted us in reconning the fuel injection system because the fuel injection system was cursed. So that was the one issue we faced. So please, it's very rare in this industry to get people that help you. especially when you've been robbed by a person in Vereniging that sells Mercedes-Benz spares. So it's a knock on us, it's a knock on the client because it delays the car. So I want you guys to please support 4 Aces in Pretoria. Their kindness and generosity is like we've never seen before, and people like that deserve the support. So please, if ever you need any Mercedes-Benz parts, I think they stock other parts as well. That's their details on the screen. Please give them some support. So now we run into another issue, right? So now that the motor is running and started up, we sit with an issue where the intake is too big and it's not allowing clearance on the master cylinder on the brake booster. So this motor in essence don't fit in this car, even though we were told the motor is a plug and play. So now what do? This car has been standing with us for a long time. The previous motor we couldn't get parts for. Now we're sitting with the problem where we bought the motor, we recon the fuel injection system. Now the intake doesn't fit. And the only options we can do is either build a plate that's going to angle the intake up a little bit, but that will affect your throttle cable and a few other stuff. Or alternatively, we can cut the intake so the intake can be a bit shorter to allow clearance, but then again it's going to affect other stuff. So now we sit with the problem where we need to make this intake fit so we can make the brake master cylinder fit. So we're either looking at maybe putting a smaller brake booster with a smaller master cylinder. So we're playing around with a few options. But again, it's a car that should have been done a long time ago. Unfortunately, we couldn't find spares for the original motor. The client agreed for us to put another motor in, which is a more modern motor with fuel injection. Now we sit with this problem. So this car has really stressed me out, and the only thing that's stopping this car from going realistically is the motor. So now we got to tackle this, which is a stress and an issue. Maybe the other option is to make a custom intake. So we are playing with a few options to see what's going to be better. But again, that is an issue that we face on cars. We've got another Bauer here that's standing next to us. Also a few delays. The car came to us and the client had mentioned he's got a lot of spares, only to find out he doesn't have much. So now he's in the process of sourcing a lot of spares. We need stuff for the roof. So again, a delay on this car. So I'm just pointing this out because this game requires patience. It requires strategic thinking. It also requires you to have analytical skills, which allows you to problem solve. And like now, for example, we found a problem on the wiring, we need to solve it. We found a problem on the fuel tank, no fuel tank actually, we need to solve it. We found a problem on the Bauer, we need to solve it. We found a problem on the Benz, we need to solve it. So this game is a lot of problem solving, trial and error. Guys, like every single car that I can tell you here, there's some sort of issue or some delay. It's not straightforward, especially when you're working on cars like an Impala, especially when you're doing custom work, when you're working on an old school Datsun. So it's quite stressful. But again, we soldier on. If you guys remember, this is Tuso's Bauer. So Tuso's interior is done. Rear suspension and braking system is completed. Front suspension is done. We're just waiting for front shocks. Discs are here, pads are here, so we're progressing on the mechanical aspect. Once we're done with the mechanical and the interior, we will then begin to strip the car for the blowover respray. So that's going to be happening soon as well. I'm trying to think what other cars can we show you. Here's the E12 that we're busy with. It's a lot of cars actually, but blowover respray, BBS front spoiler, custom sound system, which we're currently busy with now. We're making something simple. I don't want to go over the top because it's a cool, nice, clean car. So we're busy with the sound. So this car will be dropping on the channel shortly as well. So again, a lot of projects. I can show you guys a lot. Let me take you guys next door and show you the problematic Lumina. We come to another problem car. which is the Lumina behind us. So initially we were supposed to do the tonneau cover, interior, wheels, drop, bit of mechanical work, and the client kept on complaining that his bumper couldn't line up. And we tried to line up the bumper, and we finally found the reason as to why the bumper doesn't align. Is because the car has so much body filler on it, so it will never align. Reason being, there was previous repair damage here. So now what do we do? So this is the panel that was on the car, the quarter panel. So we got to repair it, phoned the client, told him the bad news, and now we got to do a complete paint job on the car. Now again, we set with the problem where you can't just go and buy a quarter panel. So what do you do? Luckily, I've got a master fabricator when it comes to metal, sheet metal work, etc. So we're literally going to fabricate a quarter section out of sheet metal for this car, because you can't buy a quarter section. The guys want to sell you the complete shell, and it's not feasible to buy a complete shell. But to show you guys, this is the extent of the body filler on the car. It's terrible. So we need to also obviously grind all of this down. We are going to be finding more issues, and we're going to paint the car. But again, old school, that's how it is. That's the name of the game, and we're used to it. It's just a matter of how you resolve it. But ideally, I wish cars went smoother, but it doesn't. But I'm used to it. But once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We're almost on 20,000 subscribers, and I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. And once again, a shout out to all our people that are commenting and interacting with us. We've got a lot of content that is dropping and that is going to be dropping. So looking forward to it, looking forward to sharing the journey with you guys and progress updates. And once again, drop your suggestions with the type of videos you'd like to see. And I'll catch you guys soon. I'm going to be traveling to Palestine during the fasting month. Like I went last year, I'm going to be going this year again for the last 10 days of the fasting month. So I will definitely keep you guys in my prayers. But don't stress, we're pre-recording some stuff and it's going to be dropping while I'm away. But I'll definitely remember you guys in my prayers and my duas. Have a lekker evening further, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.